Your mouth is a creative weapon. It's not a tool for distributing excuses. The first sign of a loser is an excuse. Champions take full responsibility, good or bad, for their outcomes. Tell the world one time what you're gonna do, and that's it. Spend less time talking and more time grinding. Think like a champion. Speak like a champion. And then walk it out. Grind 120 all day, every day. Stop making excuses. Champions make adjustments, not excuses. Every time you justify being average, you invite in the enemy. Mediocrity is a dream killer. Your coach, your trainer, your teacher, your boss is not the problem. It's your consistency. You gotta make a decision. How bad do you want it? Average is on the left. Success is on the right. You gotta choose which one you want. A champion's workout doesn't officially begin until pain arrives.
Sorry, y'all. I got it all backwards this morning. I forgot to do my 30-second countdown, and then I forgot to take it off loop, so it started again. But anyway, we here, right? Earlier than the last few days. All right, beautiful people. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It is October the 3rd, 2023, day 109 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the 5-year consecutive day count, it is day 1,489. Today, we're just reading one chapter in Owaspy. Chapter 25 is really short, if I remember correctly, is like 14 verses, and that starts on page 206. Then we're going to hop back over to the Holy Megillah today. We ain't been in there in a little over a week. And we're going to pick up in chapter 43, which is, well, where we stopped at is on page 578. I forget which verse. I didn't even write it down in here. But with that being said, Father, we thank you that you are pure. You are pure intelligence. I'll just say that. I was thinking about something else, but I didn't really know how the words to put it in. Maybe I'll use it at the end. We'll see. But anyway, who all here? Who all here? Nazarene is sing, Grand Rising, family lamb. Tikva, hey girl, hey, family creator is undefeated. And shall we never forget it. Tabitha, top of the day, faith is family, blessings of knowledge and love with us. TBE. That threw me off. Maybe it was a typo. Blessings of knowledge and love. Oh, maybe it's just B. The T is a typo. T is supposed to be silent. Be with us. Dreadful Cosma and Shalom. Peace, love, light, and balance. Brian Jog. Namaste. Mom, Shalom, Shalom. All right, and everybody else here hanging out in the background. I don't really think it's anybody. I think it's just us. I think it's 5 people. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just us right now. But anyway, for those coming in the background later, I say hey to them when they come in. All right, beautiful people. So let's go ahead and get started here. Page 206, chapter 25 at the top. And if you don't have Big Blue, you got the electronic version. It's chapter XXV, or that's Roman numerals for 25. All right. It being now the end of the 4th day, Fragapati commanded the host to embark in the Avalanza, and the marshals conducted them in, taking first the sons and daughters of Ipsoji, being 60 million. Next, the Zedrohoans, I forget how to say the word, Zeredhoians, 10 million, and then Fragapati's attendants, being mostly Etherians, 5 million. When those were abroad, Fragapati and Hoab and Yatanti and Hapatra rose up, and after making the sign of the setting sun, went down and sat at the foot of the throne. God, that was Pinoto, remember Pinoto was God at that time. God, that was Penoto, went down and took Fragapati's hand, saying, Arise, O chief, the Father calleth. Fragapati rose up and stood aside. Next, God raised Yatanti, and he stood aside. And then he raised Hoab, and he stood aside. And now came the greatest trial of all. He took Hapacha's hand, saying, Arise, O God, great Jehovah calleth thee, go thy way and his. But they both burst into tears and fell into each other's arms. Hapacha said, O Father. Penoto said, His will be done. And now the light gathered brilliantly over the scene. Fragapati moved forward, then Yatanti, then Hoab, and next Hapacha. Penoto resumed the throne. The Isinars chanted, and the firelight of the higher heavens descended over all the place. Like a sweet dream, the scene closed. Fragapati and his hosts were gone. Like a bee that is laden with honey, flying from a field of flowers to its home, so returned Fragapati with his avalanza, laden to Horady, swiftly through the vault of heaven, a shooting star in Jehovah's hand. Athavra, god of Harati and assistant to Fragapati, knew that the avalanza was coming and that Hapacha and his hosts were aboard, and he determined to provide a glorious reception. So for the space of 1,000 miles, he caused pillars of fire to be erected in 2 rows so that the avalanza should pass between them, and near the pillars he stationed trumpeters and harpers, 1,000,000 divided into 100 groups. And they were so arranged that when the avalanza passed them, they could come aboard. Now, during the absence of Fragapati, many of the spirits who had been rescued from torture and madness in the hells of Aosu had been restored to consciousness, more than 150 million of them. Jamia, peace, sister. Verse 10, page 207 at the top. Of these, Athrava said, Clothe ye in most gaudy apparel, and let them be the bearers of perfumes and flowers and torches, as presents for the Ehings, host of Hapacha. And the lights shall be lowered at the place of landing, to make it acceptable to those newly raised who are aboard. Atharva said, As for Moru, within the walls of light, it shall be rated 7. But when Fragapati hath ascended the throne, it shall be raised to 9. And in those days, 9 in Horati was 50% of the capacity of the endurance in the plateau. Jehovah had said, If they raise the light, it will be more acceptable to my Etherian host, for they have dwelt a long time near the earth and are thirsting for Etherian light. Like, man, we had a long tour down here. Give us something. I'll read verse 12 again. That was good. Jehovah had said, If they raise the light, it would be more acceptable to my Etherian host, for they have dwelt a long time near the earth and are thirsting for Etherian light. But yet consider ye, here are thousands of millions of atmospherians who cannot endure the Etherian light, but delight in a lower percent. See to it then that the walls of light protect my host in the dark on one side, but raise ye the grade to 9 within. Athavra said, There shall be flights of stairs leading over the walls of Moru, and they shall be white and illumined on that day, which will be sufficient for dividing the people according to the light suited to them. The Ehings with Hapacha will go over the walls, for they entered their corporal cities in the same way. Besides, they are capable of enduring the light, but the Ehings with Hapacha will desire to remain without. For them, prepare ye a place of delight and rest. But in regard to the Etherians, Athavra gave no orders, for they were capable of perceiving all necessary things and without instruction. That's what we pause at today. That's the end of that chapter. Chapter 14. 8. All right, y'all. So let's hop on over here to the Holy McGee and pick up where we left off at. Jamil, you know what? That passage you sent me, It slipped my mind. Like, I literally just remembered. You sent it to me. I said I was going to go look at it. I didn't even go look at it yet. I'm going to have to go back to your text and pull it back up. Oh, yeah. 578. Okay. Did I put the verse? I got to go back a week. 578. Verse 123. Okay. Dang. We ain't read this since September the 18th. 120. Verse 123. Did I say 128? No, I said 123 at first, right? Okay. Facebook user, great day, good day. All right, y'all. So chapter 43, page 578, and beginning, let me see if I want to go up a little bit. Probably wouldn't even matter at this point. Oh, that's right. Okay, so remember, they're having a homegoing party for Joseph, but it's also the wedding. Their wedding. Hold on. Yeshua and Miriam proclaimed their wedding to be not a fast, but a feast. That's verse 82 on page 577. Okay, I remember where we at. I ain't gonna go back up. I'm gonna just start at 123. He'll be given his next mission. I'm gonna give thanks for the life of Joseph. You know what? Yeah, I'll go back up. I'll go back up just a little bit. Verse 111. Okay, page 578, verse 111. And he will begin his next mission. We give thanks for the life of Joseph. We celebrate his life today along with my wedding to Yeshua. Yea, the marriage of Yeshua and Miriam is also worthy of joy and celebration. Wherefore, we invited minstrel friends to play Wherefore, we invited minstrel friends of ours to play dance music tonight. They are of Shevet Sharim Va Davarim, the tribe of songs and words. Like many of you gathered here today, they do not live in Cana, but have made the journey to play music at our wedding. They call their music ensemble Lighten Up. And so we shall. Yea, we will dance the marriage dances of the matriarchs and patriarchs. But before the music begins, let us commemorate the life of Joseph in the following manner. Let any of this assembly who feel called to share some words about Joseph, do so now. And this is verse 123 where we left off. Yeshua spoke first, saying, Joseph was not only my beloved father, lo, he was also my beloved friend. He was a good husband to my mother, a woman so venerated that all of you call her Mother Mary, even her elders. Truly, in a world where such is not always the case, I received a wonderful upbringing. Joseph taught me religious philosophy, but not without playfulness and a light, forgiving heart. Joseph was far from brittle. He wrote a scroll that I now ask to be added to the next edition of the Holy Megillah. That scroll is called Garden Teachings of Joseph the Wizard. Yeshua paused, and in the stillness of the moment, his countenance glowed brightly. Yeshua put his hand upon his chest, and the beating of his heart was one with the heartbeat of compassion. Then he raised his hands high to the heavens, and a heavenly chorus chanted the rhythm of the drumbeat of his heart. And then again, there was a deep silence. And then Yeshua spoke, saying, later tonight, after the dancing, I will share stories about my beloved father, Venerable Joseph the Wizard. But now let us hear from others. Mother Mary spoke next, saying, though I rejoice in the ascension of Joseph to El Cush, I also mourn his human death. Some weeks have now passed. I cried many times, and I saw many of you shed tears. Now this day I celebrate both the life of Joseph and the wedding of his son Yeshua to the watchtower of the flock, the holy Magdalene. I give thanks. I feel the presence of Joseph here and now. I perceive that he is watching us from his heavenly abode, a smile on his face. I perceive that he asked for celebration of his life, not lamentation. I am ready to do exactly that, and I invite you to join me. Magzera, a great wizardess, spoke next, saying, I have a story to tell about Joseph. For most of my career, I taught at the Butterfly School of the Mother Temple in the wilderness outside of Alexandria. But before I taught at Alexandria, my first year of teaching was at Mount Carmel. That was the year that Mary was 13 and was initiated into the order of the Immaculate Conception. In the order of the Immaculate Conception. I was then one of the priestesses that lived atop the Holy Mount and taught the children that came up from the Nazarene kibbutza located east of the mount. Behold, I was in attendance at Mary's initiation and beheld an angel of Yahweh standing beside her. And I beheld an angel of Yahweh, and it's using the tetragrammaton for Yahweh, YHWH. And I beheld an angel of Yahweh stand behind Joseph. And I witnessed Joseph look at Mary with eyes of love. And I witnessed Mary look at Joseph with the eyes of love. I tell you truly, the holy angels appeared that day to rejoice over the love of Joseph and Mary. For behold, the angels knew that Joseph and Mary were to be the parents of the Lord Christ. The day before the initiation of Mary, Joseph, 13 at the time, came to me and said, Teacher, I have had the same dream for 7 consecutive nights. In the dream, an angel tells me that he will soon stand behind the girl I am to marry, and that this will happen in the temple yurt on Mount Carmel. I said to Joseph, for 7 consecutive mornings, as I have gazed at the reflection of the sun in the water, a fairy has appeared and sang these words. When the young man tells you that he has dreamed the same dream for 7 consecutive nights, know that the incarnation of the Lord will come from his seed. I, Magzera, declare today that my eyes have seen the coming of the Lord Christ through the union of Joseph and Mary, initiates of the green wizards of the white rose. I say to Joseph, old friend, you did a great work. Tonight, I will raise a glass of wine to my lips in celebration of your friendship over so many years. You are the good farmer indeed, and you sow heavenly seed, now and forever, in Yah, amen. Verse 165 on page 579, Kings and Queens Coaching Group. Shalom, shalom on Facebook and YouTube. Drace and Righteous, shalom, and everybody else here hanging out in the background. Top of the day to you, top of the day. Page 165, we're in the Secret Nazarite scroll, page 579. Magzera continues saying, I have a story to tell that illustrates the great generosity of Joseph. When the Nazarene safe house in Bethany was burned to the ground by secret police, behold, Joseph provided the relocation of several dozen Nazarenes who fled that town. Joseph used the money that he had earned from selling his crops. He also gave gold coins that he had saved for his elder years. Joseph was a wizard who not only preached about generosity, but also practiced it. The next to speak was Rose, the Yaira, grandmother of Yeshua. Rose said, Blessed love. I wish to share a remembrance about Joseph. Behold, the challenges of being the bodily father of Jade. Hold on, what? Oh, I skipped the whole word. Listen, okay. Behold, imagine the challenges of being the bodily father of Jade come as Yeshua. As our intimate circle already knows, Joseph had been told by Gabriel, the messenger of the center branch, that Mary and Joseph were to be the parents of the Lord Christ. I once asked Joseph to tell me the most difficult thing about knowing his son is the Lord Christ. He said, At first, I sometimes felt ashamed when I behaved less than Christ-like in front of him. But soon I felt that his forgiveness is so boundless that I need not feel ashamed. Even with all my shortcomings, and I have many, my son, Jade, come as Yeshua, forgives me. In his forgiveness, I release all of my concerns and relax. Thus spoke Joseph to me. The greatest thing I can say about Joseph is that he was a great father, and he was equally a great husband. An old woman is often a good judge of both of those things. I give thanks that I was blessed to know Joseph the wizard. The next to speak was the eldest green wizard of the white rose, Peri Etz Chaim. And after Chaim is reference number 7. 7 at the bottom of the page says the Nazarene Hebrew name Peri, P-E-H-R-I, means fruit and is pronounced Peri, P-E-H-R-E-E, Peri. Etz Chaim means tree of life and was an honorary title given to Peri, playing off his first name, fruit of the tree of life. Peri Etz Chaim. It's cute. Okay, let's go back up. Verse 186. He was called the Maggid, the teacher of teachers. And after Maggid, Maggid, is reference letter 8. Go back down to the bottom. Maggid is the Nazarene sectarian word for teacher. It literally means to tell. In the case of Peri Etz Chaim, the term is used in a special way to honor him as the beloved and venerable eldest teacher of teachers. Even Rose, the Yaira, had been taught by Peri as a young woman and referred to him as teacher, Maggid. Go back up. I read 186 again. He was called the Maggid, the teacher of teachers. Over 100 years old, he was the eldest initiate of the Green Wizards of the White Rose. That is the highest order of the Nazarene religion of the Essene Way in our world, being a mission of the Alafim of the Tree of Life of Madhiba. The purpose of that order is to promote Yah consciousness while dancing with the green lady and Jah and Elohim, spiraling upwards as we reach low to pull up the falling of this contested garden world. Peri said, greetings in Jah and Yah as revealed in Jah Day and Jah Na. I greet you with the wand of the white rose of Medhiba. This wand is a divine lightning bolt. It lives within you and is you when you recognize yourself. This wand is a divine lightning bolt. It lives within you and is you when you recognize yourself. So remember, y'all, a lot of these stories, and I say this all the time, I try to repeat it a lot of the stories are simply stories to help you understand who you are. A lot of time we get off track fighting about the stories and they didn't really happen and this and this and that and Yeshua. Well, we're really talking about you if we want to really get technical about it, right? Let's not fight over the stories, but look at the spiritual principles being conveyed through the story, right? It's like nursery rhymes and songs and teachings that we put in songs and raps for the children to remember. We taught them the song, right? Something tangible and concrete to teach them a higher principle. That's what I think it is, Brajo. Divine lightning bolt, possibly Kundalini, right? Or the chakra system, the energy spirals, the tree of life on the inside of you. I that's what I think. Ray, hi. Okay. I'll go back to 192. This wand is a divine lightning bolt. It lives within you and is you when you recognize yourself. Medhiba is the highest heaven of the mother ovum and is the crown doorway into heaven most high, the transcendental abode of Jah and Jala. Let me read it again. This wand is a divine lightning bolt. It lives within you and is you when you recognize yourself. Medhiba is the highest heaven of the mother ovum and is the crown doorway into heaven most high, the transcendental abode of Jah and Jala. Behold, the assembly of archangels of Medhiba consists of two ranks. The first rank consists of the never fallen out of heaven first cherubim of Mahibah, the holy Alephim. The second rank of the archangels of Mahibah consists of souls who, through many ups and downs and many lives and many worlds, sometimes falling but always rising again, finally ascend so high as to reside in Mahibah, working and playing with the archangels of the first rank until sent on a mission of mercy to a lower heaven or a contested world. Hearer of these words, your wand is needed and wanted. Hearer of these words, your wand, that lightning bolt, the wisdom that resides on the inside of you, the real you, it's needed and wanted. Hearer of these words, your wand is needed and wanted. Our wands, united in the way of the Lord and Lady, send forth spiral lightning as we chant seed enchantments that sprout and grow deep roots and heavenly branches in the image and likeness of the tree of life that is within and all around. Go ahead. Verse 200. That is the zap of the wands that we white wizards wave, now and forever in Yah. Amen. Those attending this wedding that are initiates of the green wizards of the white rose will gather here tomorrow for a ritual circle of our order. After that service, all the wizards and wizardesses of that circle will gather with those who are not yet green wizards of the white rose, but have attained at least the level of Shemesh in Shemaiah. At that time, the younger initiates can ask questions of the assembled green wizards of the white rose. And each guest of this wedding party, not yet baptized as a disciple of the co-messiahship of the Lord Christ and the Lady Christ, will have the opportunity. Can you pick that up and throw that away? Yes, thank you. I thought you were about to say something. Verse 207. Now, dear ones, I have a rather amazing story about Joseph. Hold on, y'all. My voice keep cracking. Let me get some water. All right. My bad, homie. Yeah. Do some breath work. Known to be here before you know it. Get some sunny eyes. Use that light. It might be a little bit cloudy today. That's what that light is for. Not just to light up your room. It is literally a circadian rhythm light. Yes. Did you? Oh, okay. All right, son. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay.
I'm about to hit that light again.
207. Now, dear ones, I still have my voice back. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Just me. What's going on, fam? Shalom, shalom. Oh, you hanging out in the background? Okay. Here we go. Page 580, verse 207. Yeah, that's better. Now, dear ones, I have a rather amazing story about Joseph to share with you. As you know, I'm a very old man. I was already a green wizard when Joseph came to visit me when he was a young lad. At that time, he was 12, traveling with his father on a mission of mercy, and they visited me at my camp on Mount Hermon. Then, like now, I lived near the lion's den on Hermon, where Zion and green wizardry are taught. I am the headmaster of that school, but I pay equal or a bit more attention to the heart. 7 guest yurts encircle my own yurt. Students of Zion and green wizardry are sent to me for advanced training. Joseph's father Joseph's father, David, left young Joseph with me to study wizardry for a day. For though Joseph was a youth, David recognized his advanced abilities. While I taught Joseph, David visited my other students. Together, young Joseph and I have had a profound mystical experience, a truly magical day, one that I will now describe. Joseph and I sat on a big boulder beneath a cedar tree. I said to Joseph, ask me whatever questions you think most important in regard to your preparation to become a green wizard of the white rose. Joseph asked me, Perry, what is the rudiment of Nazarene wizardry that is most important for an aspirant to the white rose to meditate on? I replied, meditate first and last and in between on the supreme power of love. Meditate on the fact that wisdom realize that is best to give love. What? Meditate on the fact that wisdom realize that it is best to give love. Okay, I got it now. Meditate on the fact that wisdom realize that it is best to give love the final say. Meditate on the fact that if a wizard is truly wise, he will give love the final say. Meditate on the fact that it is by giving the nod to love that wisdom is proven wise. That is good. I read that over. I replied, meditate first and last and in between on the supreme power of love. Meditate on the fact that wisdom realized that it is best to give love the final say. Meditate on the fact that if a wizard is truly wise, he will give love the final say. Meditate on the fact that it is by giving the nod to love that wisdom is proven wise. Knowledge not devoted to love is dangerous and unwise. Oh, that's something I've been learning. That is good, right? Me and my whole adjusting of my cracking on the Christians. Listen, knowledge not devoted to love, like all the stuff that I'm learning, experiencing, things that are assimilating deep down in my sha-na-na. If I have not love, I am nothing, right? Because I can't teach anybody. I can't teach them all hard and mean and stuff because ain't nobody listening to that. People are only drawn to love, even if at first they reject you. But once they realize you are sincere, and it's really something about you, like your whole life really like exudes that in all that you do, right? Thank you. Love fulfills all the law. This is one of the many things that I agree with in the Bible. Well, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. That is one of the few things that I now agree with in the Bible, right? Not that all of it is bad, right? We ain't gonna get on that, My love is developing. I can decipher the truth and error that's been scattered throughout the Bible, right? So knowledge not devoted to love is dangerous and unwise. For lo, the nod of love is the victory of life over death. Otherwise, karma would be a cursing and not a blessing, and justice would be torturous rather than healing. And after karma is reference number 9, and down at the bottom of page 581, it says the Sanskrit root of the word karma is kri, K-R-I, and means do, D-O. Karmic consequences follow whatever we do. that is our personal karma. Because many of the Nazarene teachers, including Yeshua and Miriam, spent time in India, they often incorporated key Sanskrit terms in their discourses. Okay, so let's go back up. I read 226 again. Knowledge not devoted to love is dangerous and unwise. For lo, the nod to love is the victory of life over death. Otherwise, karma would be a cursing and not a blessing, and justice would be torturous rather than healing. And ponder this mystery. When wisdom gives love the nod, only then does love open her womb to receive wisdom's sperm. I don't disagree with that. I'm gonna read it again one more time. Y'all heard right. It's using sexual terms here. I mean, which is right. Listen, because yeah, right. Look. Knowledge not devoted to love is dangerous and unwise. For lo, the nod of love is the victory of life over death. Otherwise, karma would be a cursing and not a blessing, and justice would be torturous rather than healing. And ponder this mystery. When wisdom gives love the nod, only then does love open her womb to receive wisdom's sperm. For love becomes fertile and goes into heat when she smells the scent of wisdom's humility. It is then that love desires to conceive wisdom's baby. What? I love the way this is worded. For love becomes fertile and goes into heat when she smells the scent of wisdom's humility. It is then that love desires to conceive wisdom's baby. For love knows that the baby will carry the trait of Sulam Ha Aliyah, which is wisdom devoted to the cause of love in perpetual creative expansion in Jaja and Elohim and Yah. That's beautiful. Wizards, we're on verse 233 on page 581 in the Holy Megillah. Wizards who pursue knowledge for purposes other than to serve the cause of love, dark wizards create pain within themselves and in their surroundings. Wizards who pursue knowledge for purposes other than to serve the cause of love, dark wizards create pain within themselves and in their surroundings until and unless they truly repent. The possibility that they can repent exists precisely because of the supremacy of love. Otherwise, they would be cast into hell by their own karma without hope of mercy. Now I've come to believe that is true, right? But due to the nod of wisdom to love, this is a merciful universe. Even so, one who has fallen into darkness must truly repent, or he will not see the hand of mercy or understand the significance of wisdom's nod to love. This is amazing to me. Hold on, y'all. Okay. But due to the nod of wisdom to love, this is a merciful universe. Even so, one who has fallen into darkness must truly repent, or he will not see the hand of mercy or understand the significance of wisdom's nod to love. Wherefore I say to all aspirants to Nazarene wizardry, only when you understand the significance of the nod of wisdom to love do you understand the Christ vibration. And only when you be that vibration are you a green wizard of the white rose. Verse 240, page 582. The blue rose is our most outstretched arm. The red rose is our trained army of goodness that protects the blue rose. The white rose is the leadership of the blue rose that is chosen from those of the red rose that most powerfully manifest the four pillars of discipleship in the cause of love. So remember, they only teach one portion here in this printed version that we have. But if you go through their course, you can go through the other levels, the red rose and the blue rose, right? They have all that. They haven't put that out for the masses. All right, let me just read that again. The blue rose is our most outstretched arm. The red rose is our trained army of goodness that protects the blue rose. The white rose is the leadership of the blue rose that is chosen from those of the red rose that is most powerfully manifests the four pillars of discipleship in the cause of love. Meditate, young Joseph, on the supremacy of love. And know this, the best wizardly practice is to practice being loved. That's good. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, not being loved, being loved, like you be loved. And know this, the best wizardly practice is to practice being love. But know this, love is not without wisdom. She has the final say, but walks hand in hand with wisdom. And so walks a green wizard of the white rose. Next, young Joseph asked me, Perry, is it better to meditate on the supremacy of love or to perform a loving act? I replied, what do you think, good Joseph? Joseph replied, I think it is best to do both. When there is a loving act to be done, do it. And when in a restful mode, meditate on the supremacy of love. I said to Joseph, I agree with your answer. When it is appropriate to perform a loving act, do so. When it is appropriate to meditate, meditate. And I add this, when in doubt, perform a loving act. Then you will be out of doubt. And then you will know with certainty when it is the right moment to meditate. Lo, even love finds time to meditate and chant love enchantments, for that is holy prayer and is not left undone. Now, O listeners, comes the amazing part of the story that I promised. As Joseph and I chanted love chants, we began to vibrate so fast that we heard a call for help from a world not of our own. We answered because it felt appropriate. We answered by being loved in that world as messiahs for many ages. Then, when that world no longer needed our help, we returned to Mount Hermon because it felt appropriate. No time had passed here because it was still now. Joseph said, wow. I replied, wow. Joseph said, Perry, will you join me for a walk in the woods? It feels appropriate in the now. I replied, ancient wise soul, Joseph, I desire exactly that walk here and now. As we walked, we were silent so that we could hear nature speak to us. And nature spoke, and we listened. And when appropriate, Joseph spoke, saying, Perry, on this walk, I learned how to hear nature speak to me. And now I will ask the creatures of this forest a question. Then Joseph sent the following question out into the forest. Who in this forest can I best help here and now in love? I could perceive the question because Joseph included me in the question, and I joined the question. And then Joseph and I took on the form of ants. He was a red ant, and I was a black ant. The army of red ants and the army of the black ants were preparing to go to war against one another. Yeah, they just shape-shifted. Joseph became a messiah of love to the red ants. I became a messiah of love to the black ants. Creating a lasting peace between the red and black ants took us many lifetimes as ants, and we wrote holy scripture in the vibrations that ants perceived, for it felt appropriate. And when we were victorious and achieved a lasting peace between the red ants and the black ants, we again returned to our human bodies in the forest. No time had passed here because it was still now. And together we asked the forest, who in this forest are we called to help here and now in love? And you know what? I'm not sure if you came across it, but I done spoke about it a few times. In the Eastern world, not just the Eastern world, there are, they call them cities, right? And this is actually one of the cities, right? For lack of better words, shapeshifting. Now, have I shapeshifted? No, I'm gonna just tell you about what I read. Now, do I think it's possible? The more days that I live on this earth, I'm thinking it's possible. Simply because there are other things that I found to be true, right? So if that's true, this is possibly true as well. But only those that can, I say, operate in that level of understanding of the elements here and on the physical plane and the spiritual plane, only they get to operate in those things. Like, and I forget the terms of what they call it, right? Like, clearly one is sight, being able to see and hear like supernaturally things far. And now I've actually experienced that, being able to hear far away. I told y'all one of the stories about when Jeremiah got his 2 teeth pulled out on a bus. We lived like a block away from the bus stop, and it was the bus was late and all this stuff. I ain't gonna go through the story again, just to give you a quick summary. But I had called the school, where's the bus at? Jeremiah was 8. I think he was 8, 7. He was 7 or 8. 7 or 8. He had to be 7 or 8 years old, right? 7 or 8. And I had been down to the bus stop with the parents and came back to the house because I didn't have a cell phone at the time. So walked back to the house, called the school transportation. They said there was an accident on the bus. I'm like, what? So freaking out. They said, calm down. Everything is okay. The bus should be there in the next 15, 20 minutes. Right. So, but the bus actually got there. I was just going to wait like 15 or 20 minutes, but I was able to see a block away that the bus was coming. And Jeremiah and this other little kid were the first 2 to get off the bus. And I heard their entire conversation from a block away. They weren't screaming. They were walking side by side with each other. And they are 7, 8-year-olds, right? And they're just walking. You know how you walk with somebody, y'all just having a normal conversation in a normal tone of voice. That's what they were doing. But I heard their conversation a block away, standing on the porch, right? And he said, the other kid said, you gonna tell your mom? And Jeremiah was like, I don't know. Like, how you not gonna tell me? Even if you don't tell me, when you open your mouth, I'm gonna see something happen. Anyway, I told you I won't go through the whole story. But what happened, real quick story. On the bus, Jeremiah, I ain't gonna say he was messing with a little girl. They were playing. And he was in the wrong. She didn't want to play anymore. And he was pulling on her book bag strap. And so she was snatching it away. She told him to stop. And he didn't. And he took her book bag strap, little straps that hang down after you tightened up. He took it and he put it in his mouth. Why did he do that? It is still beyond me why he would do it. He was 7. He's a boy. He put it in his mouth and she said stop and snatched her book bag. But when she snatched her book bag, she snatched his 2 front teeth right out his mouth. Now you can't tell it looking at him today. But she snatched them jokers clean out. Now, I heard a conversation a block away. So when they got close, I'm standing there and I'm like, tell me what? What are you going to tell me? And he just looked at me. And when he looked at me, I noticed the blood on his shirt. And I about freaked out. I'm like, what happened on the bus? And he did this. And his teeth was missing. And of course, I ready to go down there and fight everybody. The bus driver, the little girl with the book bag, her parents. But I couldn't do that. Jeremiah was in the wrong. And blessed be the most holy. He ain't have any permanent damage to his mouth, right? It's probably adding to his humbleness as he's a little bit older, right? He'll mess with nobody. Look, so but they grew back in rather fast. So I think it was about time when he was going to lose them anyway. Not that I remember that they were even loose, but they came back in normal, and he has nice, pretty teeth, So, look, the whole point of me saying that, what was we reading? Hold up. Left undone. Hold on, y'all. I forgot the whole reason why I was telling y'all that. The right moment to meditate. Love finds. Love enchantments. Holy prayer. I forgot why I told y'all this. And it's almost time to go. Y'all remember what I was talking about? I lost track. I'll just go through here and read some comments. I'll probably remember in a second. Corinthians 8:1. Is that 8:1? Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. The man who thinks he knows something does not yet know as he ought to know, but the man who loves God is known by God. I love that. Sub God for Iowa. Reflects Ecclesiastes 4:11 through 19. I will have to Google that real quick to pull it up, but thank you for that, just me. One love, faith is, and soon to be faith is created, blessed, gots to work. Later. All right, y'all. Yeah, we got to go. We got like a minute left. Let me find my verse. Where I stop at, y'all? Y'all forgot to. Y'all listen to me. I normally would put a mark. Hold on. Wow. Silent. Hold on. Oh, I know. I was talking about the cities. Okay. I saw the ant and I remember. Okay. That's how I started talking about this. And I was talking about the different ones. But there are different cities or there are supernatural gifts, if you want to call it that, but they're not gifts that certain people get. Everybody can actually develop it because we were all created the same way. It just depends on how much time. Thank you, Kendrick. Kendrick, hey girl, hey. Look, yeah. I was talking about the cities. That's how I got on hearing the conversation from a block away. But that's not even the only time that's happened. That's happened a lot of times. But I find that I'm most sensitive to those things. Listen, okay, so at those times, what I was doing then, I was still full-blown Christian, but I was still operating in a principle that we kind of Christianize and call praying in tongues, but it happens when you chant as well, because it's been proven over and over and over again. So it's not the praying in tongues that does it, or it's not the chanting that does it. It's actually the quieting of yourself, giving your physical body something to do, i.e. chanting or praying in tongues or whatever. You can really just repeat a phrase, even a phrase of love over and over and over again. But what you're doing, you're calming yourself down. You're bringing your mind under control, so it's not running all around like a crazy and drunken monkey, right? And your spirit can align itself to the frequencies or to the creator within you and around you. And so when you do that thing, your spiritual your spiritual body literally just comes alive, and you can perceive things a lot faster. You can hear things, you can pull things out of ethera, out of the atmosphere, out of the ether, right? You can hear supernatural things, we call it that. You can see until tomorrow, you can see back in the, like all of these things. It's not supernatural. If you just train and develop yourself, you'll begin to see these things happen. There's like, I think it's like 9 main ones. They call them 9 because they're like, they're like the most obvious, but it's more than 9. You can I forget the Sanskrit terms for them, but one, you can make yourself invisible, right? Think about all the stuff that you see in the Marvel comics and stuff. They put all of this stuff in the Marvel movies and some of these other superhero movies, and it's amazing. We think it's entertainment, but there's actually a deeper understanding behind all of these. You can make yourself super heavy. You can make yourself invisible. You can make yourself insensitive to the elements, meaning like you can make yourself not feel the elements around you. Like if it's super hot or super cold, you can just kind of like, I forget the term. You can shield yourself from the elements, so you can walk outside butt naked in freezing below zero weather and not feel it, and neither will it affect your body, right? I may have shared it before. It's definitely in that book. It's in the yoga Patanjali book in one of the chapters, far at the end. Also, the red yoga book, it talks about it. The meditation book that we read through, it just kind of gave a overview, glossing of it. But also there is one where you can, I guess that's kind of like on the same, but like become one with the elements, which is why, like, if you meditate out in nature, it kind of increases the rate that some of these things happen. It's crazy. I started testing some of it. I just got super freaked out, especially with the water one. When I was practicing it, sitting in a tub of water, and I called my sister and I said, listen, this is what I'm about to do. I said, so if this happened, you know what I done did. Okay, so, but yeah, so it's a real thing. So when I see stuff in here like them shape shifting into ants, now I wouldn't necessarily shape shift into an ant, because what if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time? And all these crazy thoughts I have, but I don't think it's far-fetched at all. Simply, now I would have before, but as I've gotten older and I tested some of these things, and the more I meditate and just do certain things, I realize, wait a minute, they are literally telling us the truth, right? And they put it in plain sight, and they put it in movies, and people think it's just good entertainment, and it's not. It's like, these are like real live things that you can test and prove, right? It's literally a science lab. These things right there, you can test and prove. Yeah, so it also, well, I think that falls in that one that I was telling you about, Jamia, mastering the elements. I'm gonna pull it up. I have a PDF that I scanned. I want to say it's been some months. I think it was like last year, sometime, like the last time I really talked about it. I think I copied a portion. I found one of the books online, and I copied that section out, and I put it in the community section. I put it in the community section on YouTube. I'm like remembering that day. I'm gonna try and pull it back up, and I'll share it with y'all if I don't forget. Hold on, I'm gonna just write myself a note so y'all can see. Okay, let me find my spot because we gotta go. Hold on. You know what? Let me read to the end of this section. It's only like a few more verses. So who was at 287, and we're just gonna go to 306, and we're gonna pause right there. Page 583, verse 287. And together we asked the forest, who in this forest are we called to help here and now in love? Then behold, we each suddenly were hummingbirds, and within us it felt appropriate, and we saw that a type of big bird in this forest was robbing the nest of smaller birds, eating the hatchlings, causing mothers to cry. When we heard the call for help of the small birds. And so we became hummingbird messiahs because it was appropriate. We lived as hummingbirds through many ages, teaching peace amongst the bird tribes. And when it was appropriate, we were human beings walking in the forest. No time had passed here because it was still now. Now, maybe I haven't okay. So I've experienced time lapses in a couple different ways, right? Where time is sped up, especially when I was doing this test in the bathtub and meditating and going right into that deep. It literally takes a moment. It's almost, I ain't gonna say you hypnotize yourself, but I'm like, I better stop this crap while I'm ahead before I get locked in here and don't know how to get out. But time passes super fast. So what I was doing, I decided, and it happened, I tried it praying in tongues and I tried it chanting. But what I found out is that chanting puts you in that meditative state faster, probably because I didn't overthink the chanting and I had spent so much time researching tongues and I just kind of overthink it a lot. And it takes me about a good 5 hours to get into that zone to where chanting would get you there in a way shorter period of time, right? So I combined a couple different things. I combined the water. I sat in the tub and I did it while I was taking a bath. So I was completely naked to the elements, right? So I was in a tub, in water. I had music playing, the vibrations and everything, and I chanted at a rhythm, right? So don't feel, if you're gonna try this, don't fill the tub up with water. I don't want you to slip down and drown. Halfway with water, right? So your naked body touching the elements. Couldn't do that outside, might get arrested for indecent exposure. Look, Sony Jackson, shalom. Look, so with a couple different things, at least everything that I could think of at that moment, putting all that stuff together and then going into that zone, the meditative state to where time passes or time slows down. What I experienced at that time is increments of 10 minutes would pass, because I had my stopwatch. I took my watch off and I was timing it. I'm like, this is freaking crazy. I would literally like go into that deep meditative state, and it was literally, to me, what felt like only a second. Like I literally just closed my eyes, like I was just counting to 10. But when I had opened my eyes and snapped out of it, and the music, I set it to where it was increments, because when the music stopped, it would wake me up, right? So when I wake up, 10 minutes had it. It's crazy. 10 minutes had elapsed. At sometimes it was 15 minutes. I'm like, this is crazy. What is really happening here? So the meditative state, it seems sometimes longer. And there is also, like what we read in My Big Toe, like there is really something to this. Remember in My Big Toe, if y'all was here for that, when he was talking about meditation, when he had first started practicing it, he would be meditating for what he thought was just a few moments, but a couple of hours had passed. But you can also kind of like reverse it, so to speak, to where if you only have 5 minutes, if you only have like 5 minutes, you can put yourself in that deep meditative state to where your body will gain the rest that it needs. And it's like your body has had hours of sleep, right? So I'm probably screwing the terms up, but I'm just describing it. So you can like cat naps or whatever. If you learn how to meditate really good, you can take 5 minutes. And that's something I'm learning. I was like, I know how to do this. And these times when I'm doing these projects and assignments and all this stuff, I need to just go right there to get the sleep that I'm lacking. But it really restores your body. You can take about 5-10 minutes, and but it helps if you use a couple things along with it. You can use binaural beats, you can use music, the vibration. You just have to learn how to get your spirit, your body into that vibrational state to where it can pull the rest that your body needs. Like, it's crazy. You just gotta practice it. And when I realized this crap is real, like I said, it kind of freaked me out a little bit, and I just move away because I don't want to go too far before I really understand it all the way. But there are some books out there, and I have a couple where it'll explain it. But just be careful. I would say not to go do it to be like, yo, B, I know how to do this, because I think you get in trouble that way. I think as you grow organically and you understand things, I think you have better control over what's happening, which is why I stopped. Like, okay, I understand that, I know how to do it, I know how to get there, but I may not have seen, different things or understand certain things yet, which is why I just kind of push it off. And I don't argue with people who talk about it, because I know it exists and I know it works, simply with the stuff that I've tampered with, if you want to call it that. But I'm I like to take the organic route to growth just to make sure I don't miss any steps, right? And don't get hung up somewhere along the line. So, but yeah. Did I finish? I didn't even finish. Hold on. Oh, I got to 295. Okay. And when it was appropriate, we again were human beings walking in the forest. No time had passed here because it was still now. And that's why I started telling you about that. We lived many lifetimes and many bodies that afternoon. And then we played with fairies and Alafine. That night we chanted beneath the stars. And once again, we lived many lifetimes and many worlds as messiahs of love. And now Joseph has ended one incarnation in this world that we call this world. And when he begins his next incarnation, it will be appropriate. And it will be now. And it will never not be now. Is not now truly amazing? Now and forever in Yah. Amen. And so that was the end of this section. So tomorrow, depending on how far we get in the Owaspi, we can read these next few verses. Holy enchantment of the Magid, or the teacher of teachers. I forgot. Okay, so this chapter actually has 523 verses. So we'll still be here for a couple more days. We'll probably finish it by the end of the week if we can read it every day. All right, beautiful people. That's gonna be it for today. I'll drop my highlighter. So I hope y'all enjoyed the reading today. I'll pull this up for y'all. What I was talking about, so y'all can look at it when y'all get a chance about these elements. And if I ain't telling y'all to go try some of this stuff, but I'm just saying it's pretty friggin' dope. If you've developed and you've grown, there are some lower levels that you can test and try. Don't just try and jump off the deep end, y'all. I'm just saying, not that something bad is going to happen, but I just, like I said, I really enjoy organic growth. So I don't miss steps in between, right? And you don't do it for the wrong reasons. Like, I'm gonna go rob a bank and I'm gonna just disappear myself, make myself invisible, stuff like that. All right, because a lot of people who don't grow organically, they take some of these superpowers and they use them in the wrong way, and they find themselves in a world of trouble, right? And not just physical cop jail trouble, but spiritual trouble. And you need somebody who's advanced way above you to help you undo the mess that you've done, right? So I would like to, as I grow, people who have gotten in messes, I would like to help set some of my brothers and sisters free, which is why I like to stick to the organic path of growth, not missing any steps, not that I'm gonna save everybody, because I'm not, but those along my path that I see, I can recognize. I know how you got there. You ain't got to say nothing to me. I can look at you and tell you that you didn't skip some lessons, because this right here is clear. That's a clear indication that you skipped lesson 4. You skipped lesson 7. You did not read to the end of chapter 9, because you didn't read to the end of chapter 9, because chapter 9 would have told you, right? See, I want to be a person that can properly diagnose and rightfully dissect things before I go headlong into something, because I know I'm going to be able to come back out, right? So that's just me. All right, y'all. It's Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2023, day 109 of year 5 of reading through books, laws, and prophets. And of the 5-year consecutive day count, it is day 1489. We read chapter 25 in the book of Ragapatty, pages 206 to 208. Then we read a little bit more in chapter 43 in the Holy Megillah. We started on page 578. We paused on page 583, and those were verses 123 to 306. You know what? I think Father, thank you for these amazing bodies that you've created in this world and in the world to come. And thank you that you give us access to it now while we're here, right? Because we need to develop. That's why we was given these bodies, right? To learn how to manipulate these elements here in this realm, but also to grow us up, mature us, so that when we step into the real world or fully born spirit, we ain't spiritual vagabonds. And most people have been entering birth or entering life, what we call death here, spiritual illiterates. And we do not want to be that when we go. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Give me a few minutes. I think everybody's still asleep. So I got a few minutes, and I'll go ahead and share this with y'all. I was supposed to share something with y'all last week, and I forgot what it was. And I got to go through here and name some of these videos too. So I'm going to update the names. I ain't going to do thumbnails because it's too time consuming for me right now. But I'm going to update some of these video names. So if you're looking for a video right now, it's kind of like just generic. Day 7, day 8, day 9. Like, well, what did you talk about that day? So I got to go back in there and throw some titles in there. All right, y'all. That's it. I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early. 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bruce.
But I see through you!
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gold, I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, making moves.
What did you just do to me?
I pushed your astral form out of your physical form.
What's in that tea? Psilocybin? LSD?
It's just tea. With a little honey.
What just happened?
For a moment, you entered the astral dimension.
What?
A place where the soul exists apart from the body.
Why are you doing this to me?
To show you just how much you don't know. Open your eyes.
Been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cold sign.
What's happening? This isn't real, this isn't real, this isn't real, this is...
Dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a cold sign.
His heart rate is getting dangerously high.
He looks all right to me. You think that this material universe is all there is?
I don't need gravity, I need
What mysteries lie beyond the reach of your senses? Existence, mind and matter meet. Thoughts shape reality.
I don't need gravity, I just need growth. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Some benevolent and life-giving, filled with malice and hunger. Dark places where powers older than time and waiting.
I don't swim or sink, I just float.
Who are you in this vast multiverse?
I don't need gravity, I just need I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Have you seen that before in a gift shop?
I don't need gravity, I just need growth.
Teach me.
No.
It's an earthquake rumble. I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho crumble.